So good day everyone. So before I start, let me first introduce myself. By the way, I'm Christopher Layupan and I'm the third presenter from the group 2. And I'll be presenting the principles of compaction. So under principles of compaction, so we have compaction equipment, selection of compaction equipment, ground modification, and lastly the grading and finishing. So before we start, so let's first define what is compaction. So compaction is the process of increasing the density of a soil by mechanically forcing the soil particles closer together, thereby expelling air from the void spaces in the soil. So in the construction of highway embankments, earth dams, and many other engineering structures, loose soils must be compacted to increase their unit weights. To compact a soil, that is, to place it in a dense state. So the dense state is achieved through the reduction of air voids in the soil. So with little or no reduction in the water content. So one of the biggest questions probably to be raised in here in this discussion would be, why is compaction an important job? So as you can see in the picture, there is a settlement on road and also in the building structure. So compaction decreases the likelihood of settlement after a building, roadway, runway, or parking lot that is constructed rather, which could result in premature pavement issue or pavement failure and also costly maintenance or repair. So soil compaction is a crucial part of the construction process as it provides a strong working platform. So that is why compaction is a must before starting your building construction or any structural jobs. So now let's proceed to compaction equipment. So areas under compaction equipment, we have principal types of compaction equipment, the compaction in confined areas, and the selection of compaction equipment. So the principal types of compaction equipment, we have the steel wheel, pneumatic, vibratory, the tamping foot, and lastly the grid. So first, let's discuss what is a steel wheel. So it is the tandem or a double drum roller, has one steel drum in the front and one in the back. So as the two drums move, this moves the ruler, of course. So the efficiency of the tandem roller comes from the two drums. So entire section of a highway can be flattened and paved quickly and efficiently. So these rollers are great for flat or gradual surfaces like asphalt, but because they are very little traction, they're not recommended for anything specialized. So when it comes to pneumatic rulers, sometimes called pneumatic tire rulers. So these are a type of large ride-on ruler with several rows of rubber tires on the front and rear end. So the rubber tires provide an 80% coverage area and uniform pressure throughout the width of the tires. They are typically used for pavements and can help smooth out and polish a project, but are also great for cold laid bituminous or cold laid mixed pavements and layer of loose soil. So as you can see, so let's proceed first to vibratory. So vibratory rollers rather, are almost identical to smooth wheel rollers. So so including the single or double drum. So, except for one major difference. They come with a specialized vibrating component. So, as the roller compacts and flattens the surface, it will vibrate, of course, since soil, asphalt, and concrete have natural empty space. So they can cause, since since soil and concrete have natural empty space, they can cause a building to warp and sink, causing damage to the structure. So using a vibratory roller on your construction project, it can help you keep the building structure at its integrity, and also the other types of soil that vibratory rollers are great at compacting are crushed rock or gravel. So as you can see, steel wheels are vibratory. So murag same lang siya. And then itong vibratory morning commonly used sa mga roadways na makita nato before mag-start sila og um, mag-start og buhos. So di ba ang tawag ani sa ato di ba ang pison. So ginapisonan sa nila ang roadway before ginabuhusan og semento. So let's proceed to tamping foot. So tamping foot are rollers with many rectangular shaped lugs or feet, and they're great for compacting soil and silty clay in road construction work. So the tamping foot drum's weight can be increased by ballasting it with water, damp sand, or mounting steel section onto it, providing a more efficient compacting job. Likewise, any project with wet clay or other fine-grained soil at great depths should use this type of roller. So you can finish off areas compacted by tamping foot rollers by going over them with a pneumatic roller. So kini usually ang tamping foot magamit siya atong kanang kuan gani kanang humok na kayong lupa. So yung katong like yung wet clay or other fine-grained soil. So lastly, for the grid rollers. So grid rollers are a type of roller that has a network of steel bars, so which create a grid-like pattern, as you can see in the picture, on the steel drum. So the grid may also be ballasted with concrete blocks or steel attachment for more contact pressure. So these type of rollers are generally towed or pulled behind the tractor or another heavy machine. So the grid design of the cylinder drum produces a high contact pressure with a little needing action on compaction work. So because of this, they're most suitable in well-graded or coarse soil, weathered rocks, and for subgrade and sub-base road construction. So that is how the grid work. So now let's proceed to compaction in confined areas. So the equipment available for compaction in confined areas, such as trenches and around foundation, includes a small vibratory plate, compactors, and also the tampers or rammers. So the vibratory plate compactor, as you can see in the left side. So it is mainly used for compaction of different type of soil in narrow and restricted areas where it is not possible or economical to use large compaction equipment. So this vibratory plate and tamper or rammer can only be used in those small areas where large equipment can be used. Like dili mo pud nimo sa sulod sa balay no. Like kung magbuhat kag unsa na magtambak kag lupa. So dili guro nimo gubaon imong balay para masulod lang ang pison. So with that, gamiton nimo ang vibratory plate o grummer or tamper or rammer. So ang tamper rather or rammer is a machine used for compacting different types of soil under various construction scenarios. So as I said earlier, so it applies impacts to the surface of soil to level and compact it uniformly. So during the process of compaction, it reduces the number of voids among the soil particles and increases the dry density of soil. So now let's proceed to selection of compaction equipment. So here we have the different types of soil. We have the rock, the gravel, or clean or silty. We have the gravel clayey. We have sand clean silty rather. We also have a sand clayey, a clay sandy silty, and clay heavy. So as you can see in the selection table, we have here a selection guide. So for the full block one, we have an annotation of recommended. For the half one, we have acceptable, and for the blank one or the white circle, we have a marginal. So for rock material, we have a recommended for steel wheel, vibratory, tamping foot, and grid. For gravel, clean or silty, we have uh, uh, it is safe to use steel wheel, and it is acceptable to use pneumatic, and it is very recommended to use vibratory, tamping foot, and grid. And for gravel clay, it is recommended to use steel wheel and tamping foot, and it is acceptable to use pneumatic, vibratory, and grid. So for sand, clean, or silty, it is marginal to use steel wheel, pneumatic, and tamping foot, while it is recommended for vibratory and acceptable for grid. For sand, clayey, silt, we have here a recommended for tamping foot, for the use of tamping foot, acceptable for pneumatic, vibratory, and marginal for steel wheel and grid. And when it comes to clay and sandy or silty soil, we have a recommended with pneumatic and tamping foot, and it is acceptable to use vibratory, and it is marginal when it comes to grid and steel wheel. And when it comes to clay or heavy clay, it is recommended to use pneumatic and tamping foot, and still it is acceptable to use vibratory, while it is marginal to use steel wheel and grid. So now let's proceed to ground modification. So ground modification is the process of giving natural soils enough abrasive resistance and shear strength to accommodate traffic or design loads. So that is how we define ground modification or soil stabilization. So methods available in this table include mechanical methods, hydraulic methods, reinforcement methods, and physiochemical methods. So the compaction process falls under these methods below. So as you can see, compaction falls under a mechanical method. So now let's proceed to grading and finishing. So for grading and finishing, so grading is the process of bringing earthwork to the desired shape and elevation. Finish grading or simply finishing involves smoothing of slope, shaping ditches, and bringing the earthwork to the elevation required by the plans and specification. So, finishing usually follows closely behind excavation, compaction, and grading. And finishing in turn is usually followed closely by seeding or sodding to control soil, excuse me, to control soil erosion. So the piece of equipment most widely used for grading and finishing is the grade excavator. So as you can see in the picture, so these grade excavator or trimmers are a type of machine that are capable of finishing roadway and airfield subgrades and bases faster and more accurately than can motor graders. So like usually makita man nato ni kuan familiar naman ni sa inyo ha. Makita man nato ni sa mga construction na siya ay sa tawag ani backhoe then katong nasa baba di ba dual purpose man ni kaning nasa baba mo gitawag nga grader. Ay, tama, grader. So now, let's proceed to the another topic, the rock excavation. So for rock excavation, we have we are going to discuss the rock characteristics, rock investigation, rock handling system, and tunneling. So first, we're going to discuss the rock characteristics. So, as ma-recall nato sa atong mga last subject or sa atong senior high or even sa ato ang chemistry, so gidiscuss ang rock characteristics. So, rock may be classified as igneous, sedimentary, or metamorphic according to its origin. So first, igneous rock formed when the Earth's molten material cooled. So because of its origin, it is quite homogeneous and is therefore the most difficult type of rock to excavate. So example of igneous rock are granite and basalt. So when it comes to sedimentary rock, it was formed by the precipitation of material from water or air. As a result, it is highly stratified and has many planes of weakness. So thus, it is the most easily excavated type of rock. So sedimentary rock is uh, the most uh, easy to excavate. So when it comes to metamorphic rock, so and or first for sedimentary rock we have sandstone, shale, and limestone. So metamorphic rock, it is originated as igneous or sedimentary rock, but has been changed by heat, pressure, or chemical action into a different type of rock. So metamorphic rock is intermediate between igneous rock and sedimentary rock, and its difficulty of excavation. So example of metamorphic rock is our phyllite, schist, gneiss, quartzite, and marble. So now for rock investigation, we have for relative hardness is measured on Mohs scale from 1 to 10. As a rule rather, any rock that can be scratched by a knife blade, so hardness about 5, can be easily excavated by reaping or other mechanical methods. So Mohs scale we have here for those for those type of rock that can be easily excavated are talc, gypsum, calcite, fluorite, up to the apatite. So for a scale number of 6 to 10, it is really hard. So only those scale from 1 to 5 can be excavated by reaping or other mechanical methods. So the rest are it's hard or there are far more greater mechanical equipment that can be used to excavate these kind of rocks. So now let's proceed to rock handling system. So for rock handling system, we had first uh, loosen, where we will use drill or blast or by ripping to loosen a rock. We need to follow procedures such as drill, blast, or ripping. So second, after losing a rock, we're going to load it using shovel or wheel loader. So third procedure is after loading it, so using shovel or wheel loader, we will haul it using truck or wagon. So lastly, another load and haul for the purpose of transferring it from this place to another place. So that's the purpose of load and haul. So that is how the rock handling system works. So now let's proceed to tunneling. So tunneling in rock is a specialized form of rock excavation that has traditionally been accomplished by drilling and blasting. However, recently, tunneling machines or mechanical molds equipped with multiple cutter heads and capable of excavating to full tunnel diameter have come into increasing use. So dati nga mga panahon, so in order to maka-create og tunnel, ginabuhat nila kay gina-drill and gina-blast. So since new generation naman ta karon, and there are lots of machine or equipments that been invented to to para mas madali yung trabaho, like mo na ning nag-evolve or mo na ning na-create ning mechanical molds. So this is equipped with multiple cutter, which is easily to handle and easily to use. So mostly pod ang nagagamit ani kay mga Japanese, ay katong new tunnel diri sa Davao, di ba Japanese man ang contractor ato, or katong nag-handle sa project is a Japanese. So now let's proceed to drilling. Rock drilling tools include those used for oil and natural gas exploration, mining, construction, and all other industrial operation that need to excavate or drill through natural rocks, concrete and masonry. So here we have the typical characteristic of rock drilling equipment. So for the type of drill, we have the percussion drill. So the jackhammer. So this is the jackhammer. So common man ni, di ba? Like makita nato ni usually di sa mga road pag kanang like excavate nato balik ang road kay like nag-undergo na siya weathering or kinahanglan na siya pulihan, so mao ning ginambuhat. Usually makita nato diri sa Pilipinas kini, di ba? Kaning jackhammer. Kung manually kung taong magamit, ay kung like handy siya, or like dili kayo siya baga ang semento, dili kayo siya baga, so unang usually gamiton ang jackhammer. So ang maximum drill diameter niya is 2.5 inch or 6.3 centimeter, and maximum depth is 20 feet 6.1 meter. Itong drifter naman, it is for maximum drill diameter, we have a 4.5 inch or 11.4 centimeter and maximum depth of 15 feet and 4.6. And for wagon drill, this one, we have 6 inch or 11.2 centimeter for maximum drill diameter and a maximum depth of 50 feet. Diba? Masyadong malaki siya. Or 15.3 meter. And for track drill, we have 6 inch or 15.2, same with wagon drill in maximum drill diameter, and also for maximum depth, same with the wagon drill of about 50 feet and or 15.3 meter. For rotary drill naman, to rotary drill we have 72 inch or 183 centimeter. Then for maximum depth, we have 1000 feet and 305 meter. So for rotary percussion, we have 6 inch, 15.2. Then maximum depth niya is 150 and or 46 meter. So morning rotary percussion. So kaning rotary, dili ni rotary drill ha. Kini nga picture is katong usyag barina. So ginapakita lang nako nga ang rotary drill kay ang iyang nguso o yung nozzle kay ingani. Like rotary kay di man diri makita. So magihimo na ko ning example. And now let's proceed to my last discussion, which is the rock reaping. So reapers have been utilized since ancient times to break up hard soil. However, only since the advent of the heavy-duty tractor-mounted reaper has it become feasible to reap rock. Thus, the availability of powerful heavy tractors now makes it possible to reap all toughest rock. So where reaping can be satisfactory employed. So rock reaping, it is usually cheaper than drilling and blasting. Kay like kaniong basta it is cheaper than drilling and blasting kay handy man siya. And then additional advantage of reaping over drilling and blasting include increased production, then fewer safety hazard and reduced insurance cost. So among the three process of excavation, the rock reaping is or are more or is more safety than blasting and drilling, and mas barato siya. So ang iyang cost is mas barato including the labor. So that would be the end of my report. So thank you everyone. I hope na namin natulan sa akong report. Thank you.